There are plenty of tips and tricks to help us get a good night's sleep. On today's episode, we'll look at some of the more popular methods that encourage us to sleep by the numbers. I'm Jay, and this is Somnilopod. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm so glad you joined me on this chilly and rainy, at least rainy in my area, Halloween afternoon. I hope everybody has their costumes ready and plenty of candy to hand out to the kiddies today. I was recently talking with a friend, and he mentioned that he had started using a breathing technique that he found on the internet to help him get to sleep at night, and he'd had some success with it. So I wanted to touch base with you guys and talk a little bit about some of the more popular methods of counting down or using some sort of numeric trick to help us get some sleep. There are four in particular that I want to talk about. And while they can be a little overwhelming, basically they fall into two different categories. There are those techniques that help reduce anxiety to help us get to sleep a little bit easier, and then techniques that will also help us with our sleep hygiene throughout the day. So they will help us consolidate our sleep so that we can get the deep restorative sleep that we need. So the first two that I want to talk about help with anxiety and stress relief. And they are the 4-7-8 technique and the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. So I'm going to throw a lot of numbers at you, but these two basically are helping to reduce stress and anxiety. The 4-7-8 technique is a breathing exercise. Now, you probably have found yourself in times of stress having to stop and just take a breath. And part of what this technique does, it helps to teach you a specific way to breathe in order to help focus on your breathing and to reduce the other extraneous stressors that you're feeling at that moment. So basically, what you do with the 4-7-8 technique, you want to make sure that the tip of your tongue is resting on the back of your upper teeth. So you just sort of rest it against the top of your teeth, the back of the upper teeth, and you keep it there throughout the exercise. So you will essentially exhale, and then you will breathe in quietly through your nose for 4 seconds. And then once you've completed the 4 seconds, you will hold that breath for a count of 7 seconds. And after those 7 seconds, you will then exhale through your mouth for 8 seconds. That's where the 4-7-8 comes in. Practitioners of this method feel that the ratio is what really is best. So if you are like me and you have trouble holding your breath, which I have never been able to hold my breath for very long, so I'm glad that they included a lesser version of this. You can breathe through your nose for 2 seconds, hold that breath for 3.5 seconds, and then exhale through your mouth for 4 seconds. Now, they do recommend that over time, or suggest that over time, the more you do this, the more capable you will be at being able to hold your breath and to effectively do the initial ratio of the 4-7-8. They recommend that you do this cycle at least 4 times, and you can do it throughout the day as well. This is one of those methods that the more you do it, the more comfortable you feel with it, the more it becomes a part of your routine, the better it will work for you. Now, as I have mentioned in the past, I wear a CPAP unit. It's a continuous positive airway pressure device. It's a mask that blows air through my nose to help treat my sleep apnea. If you're in the same boat and you want to try some of these breathing exercises, I would recommend not wearing your CPAP unit at the time you're doing your breathing exercises. Depending upon the pressure setting that you're on, some people find it easier to control their breathing. I'm on a relatively low pressure setting, so I can control my breathing with the CPAP on. But at higher pressure settings, you may find it difficult to do. So if you're practicing this technique, go ahead and set the CPAP unit aside until you have finished several cycles, and then go ahead and put your CPAP unit on. Now, the next technique, the 5-4-3-2-1 technique, is a grounding technique. And by grounding, it basically is something to help you focus on mindfulness and your immediate surroundings. So, for example, it starts with 5 things in your environment that you can see. So you can see your lamp next to your bed. You can see the drapes. You can see your chest of drawers. The next step would be 4 things that you can touch or feel. You can feel the weight of the blankets on your bed. You can feel the firmness of your mattress, the softness of the sheets. And next would be 3 things you can hear. You could hear a fan running. You could hear your spouse breathing or someone in the house making noise. You could hear traffic noises outside. And then you want to focus on 2 things you can smell. For me, it would be the beard conditioner that I put in my beard at night. Some people also use a diffuser, so you could smell the type of essential oil that you're using in your diffuser. And finally, it's 1 thing that you can taste. So you'll notice that all of these are very sensory. It's helping you focus on those things that, like I say, in your environment, that help you disconnect from the anxieties that are outside trying to push their way in, and help you focus on those things that are immediate to you. So many practitioners of this method will state that if they're going to use it to try to help them get to sleep, they will focus on creating an environment in the bedroom that is conducive to sleep. So for example, sight. They may want to get rid of any blue lights in their bedroom and simply focus on a soft, warm light to help them maintain their calm or relaxing environment. They may have a unique night light or even a salt lamp that can be a visual cue to help you start to get to sleep. Same thing with sound. You may have a specific fan that you only turn on when you're getting ready to go to bed. You may use a white noise machine. You may have a playlist on your phone that you listen to as well. Smells and tastes. Smells you can, like for example, I like to use an essential oil diffuser, or you could use a candle, something that is a specific scent that you begin to relate with going to sleep at night. So for example, it's something that you only, say you have a lavender candle. You light that before you go to bed so that your room smells a little bit like lavender before you lay down. And finally, taste. They recommend that you keep either drink a specific type of tea before you go to bed so that you have that taste in your mouth, or possibly keep a specific lip balm next to your bed that you only put on at night. Now, the next 2 techniques are geared more toward use throughout the day, and they help to keep our sleep hygiene in order. So for example, the 10-3-2-1-0 technique recommends that 10 hours before bedtime, you avoid any caffeine. 3 hours before bedtime, you avoid alcohol and food. 2 hours before bedtime, you get rid of work. Put that work aside. 1 hour before bedtime, you have no more screen time, television, iPads, telephones, etc. And 0 times during the day, you hit the snooze button. Now, this is something that is essentially making it a part of your daily routine. We've talked about our body's need for routine as far as getting a good night's sleep is concerned. We've talked about that in the past. Now, some of these things may be difficult to do every day, but the more you try to focus on these and make some of them a part of your routine, the better your sleep will be. Usually it will take some time to develop these habits. So if you can't start doing all of them at once, start with a couple that you can. 3 hours before bedtime, get rid of your alcohol. Some people like to have a nightcap, but we know that alcohol, as your body begins to metabolize the alcohol, it can decrease the depth of your sleep and it can disrupt your sleep. So you may not get the good, solid, deep sleep you need to feel refreshed. So pick some of these, work them into your daily routine, and they will help over time. And then the 3-2-1 technique is basically borrowing the middle of the 10-3-2-1-0 technique. So it's basically focusing on avoiding food and alcohol 3 hours before bedtime, no work 2 hours before bedtime. And this is something that we find, especially in our changing work environment, that a lot of people who are working from home don't set specific time frames in order to do their work. So they may work right up until they go to bed. The recommendation here is to stop 2 hours before bedtime so that you don't have that extra stress of working affecting you as you're falling or trying to fall asleep. And then 1 hour before bedtime, get rid of the screen time. I mentioned this before, the blue light can affect our ability to get to sleep and to stay asleep. So it's important to try to reduce some of that stuff and to make all of these a part of our regular habits throughout the day. I hope this has been informative for you. I was surprised when I did the research that there were so many different numbered techniques to try to focus on. But when you boil it down, it's reducing the amount of stress that you feel as you're trying to get to sleep, and it's maintaining good sleep hygiene throughout the day. So find the technique that works best for you, try to incorporate it into your day, and hopefully your nighttime sleep will be a lot better than it has been. Please remember to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. I hope everyone has a safe and happy Halloween. And until next time, please remember to make sleep a priority. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.